If you have ever felt like getting girls is some kind of unsolvable mystery, then trust me, you are not alone. So many guys have been there, and I used to be in that camp too. But what if I told you it is actually pretty easy to get girls, and that most of what you have been told is totally overcomplicating things? You don't need to have bulging biceps, an overflowing bank account, or some mystical game to attract women. What you need are basic principles that are both simple and effective. I'm going to break down exactly how to shift your mindset and behavior, and it is going to change the way you approach women forever. Let's go back to my younger days. Like most guys, I tried everything. Pickup lines, trying to be the funny guy, trying to look more manly, and surprise, none of that worked. I felt stuck. But then something clicked. I realized I was focusing on all the wrong things. It is like trying to win a game without understanding the rules. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some actionable steps that will make attracting women a whole lot easier. Stick with me, and you will see how simple it really is. Now, the first thing you need to know, and this is probably the most important, is that it all starts with you. Yeah, I know it sounds cheesy, but let me explain. You see, most guys are out here thinking that they need to change for women. They ask themselves, what do girls want? How can I be more appealing to her? The problem with that is you are starting from the wrong place. You are focusing on her when you should be focusing on yourself. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a guy who is constantly worrying about what a girl thinks of him. Every time he is around a girl, he is bending over backward to be the nice guy, agreeing with everything she says, complimenting her non-stop, and avoiding any topic that can lead to disagreement. He's afraid of making any kind of mistake. But the more he tries to get her attention, the more she pulls away. Why? Because the energy he is putting out is saying, I am not good enough on my own. I was exactly like that at one point. I remember being at this social event with some friends. There was this girl there I thought was incredible. Gorgeous, funny, smart, the whole package. And instead of having a real, meaningful conversation with her, I was obsessively second-guessing everything I said. I kept thinking, am I sounding cool enough? Is she impressed by my stories? Did I just make a weird joke? It was like running a constant loop of anxiety in my head. The result came out as a conversation that felt forced and awkward, and we didn't really connect. Then one night, we ended up in the same group at a friend's get-together. Instead of putting on my usual act, I was just too tired to keep it up. So I decided, screw it. I am just going to relax and be myself. We ended up having a real conversation about life, travel, family, all the things I would usually avoid because I didn't think they were funny enough to hold her attention. But you know what? She loved it. For the first time, I wasn't trying to impress her, and that is when things actually clicked. The point is, being authentic and showing real interest in a person is way more attractive than any performance you could put on. So how do you develop that kind of confidence? It is not about memorizing lines or strategies. You must recognize your own value. If you think you need to change or perform to get someone's attention, you are telling yourself and them that you are not enough as you are. The moment you realize that you are enough, just as you are, that is when things start falling into place. Here is another key point. Stop seeking approval. Most guys don't even realize they are doing it, but the need for validation can be a huge turnoff. You know what I am talking about, right? It is when you are trying to impress someone so much that it is almost like you are seeking their permission to be yourself. We have all been there. You are chatting with a girl, and instead of focusing on the conversation, your mind is racing. Does she like me? Did I say the right thing? Should I ask her out now or wait a bit? That anxiety builds up because you are looking for some kind of confirmation from her that you are doing it right. But guess what? When you are so focused on winning her approval, you are not present. You are not engaging with her genuinely. I remember this one time back in college when I was trying to get into this group of people that I thought were super cool. You know the type, confident, always cracking jokes, seemed to have it all figured out. I wanted to be part of that crowd so badly that I found myself overthinking every single interaction I had with them. So, one night we were all hanging out at this small house party, and I was already in my head about it. The whole time I was thinking, okay, what should I say? How can I seem like I belong here? Should I be funnier? Maybe I need to throw in some witty remarks to keep up. Instead of just enjoying myself, I was constantly scanning the room, wondering if I was fitting in or not. It was exhausting. Every time I opened my mouth, I was looking for some sign of approval, like a laugh at a joke, or even just a nod to show that they were paying attention. I kept gauging their reactions, thinking, did I say the right thing? Are they impressed? It wasn't even about the conversation anymore. It was about my need to prove that I was worthy of being in that group. And guess what? They could sense it. People pick up on that kind of energy. I was so focused on trying to win their approval that I wasn't being myself. I was trying too hard to fit into a mold of what I thought they wanted me to be. Instead of relaxing and enjoying the moment, I came across as anxious and uncomfortable. It hit me afterward, driving home, that I had spent the entire night chasing something I didn't need. I realized I was seeking their validation instead of just being there, being myself, and letting things flow naturally. A few weeks later, I ran into the same group again, but this time, I didn't try to fit in. I was just there to have a good time. I didn't overthink my words or wonder if I was saying the right thing. I cracked a few jokes, told some stories about a hiking trip I'd been on recently, and just enjoyed the moment. And you know what? The vibe was completely different. We ended up having a great conversation because I wasn't constantly looking for their approval. I was just there, being me. The point is, when you stop seeking approval, you free yourself from that pressure to perform. You start engaging in the conversation for real. People respond to authenticity more than anything, and you can't be authentic if you are too busy trying to be someone else for their sake. Be it a group of friends, colleagues, or anyone new you meet, authenticity is way more attractive than any act or performance you could put on. Next, it is not about her, it is about you. Now here is something important. Stop putting women on a pedestal. Society has fed us this idea that women, especially attractive ones, are somehow better than us just because of their looks. But when you treat someone like they are above you, that is exactly how they will see you, below them. You have got to remember that attraction is mutual. Women want to be with men who respect themselves, who know their worth, and who don't need to put someone else above them to feel validated. Rather than thinking, I hope she likes me, start thinking, do I like her? Shift the focus back to what you want. Does she have the qualities you are looking for? Is she someone you genuinely enjoy being around? This doesn't mean you need to be rude or dismissive, but it does mean you should be selective. When you adopt this mindset, you will notice that women are more drawn to you because they can sense that you are not desperate for their attention. You are a man who has options, and that is incredibly attractive. Next, never be afraid of rejection. Let's talk about rejection for a minute because this is a huge fear for a lot of guys. It was for me too. I used to think that if a girl rejected me, it meant I wasn't good enough or that something was wrong with me. But rejection is a part of life. It happens to everyone, and it doesn't define your worth. When you stop fearing rejection, you become way more confident. Why? Because you realize that her opinion doesn't determine your value. If she is not into you, it just means she is not the right fit. And that is fine. There are plenty of other women out there. In fact, when you approach women with the mindset that rejection isn't a big deal, you will find that it happens less often. Confidence is attractive, and when you are not afraid of rejection, you come across as more relaxed and self-assured. Another one is to focus on connection, not impressing. Here's the final thing I will say. When you are trying to get a girl, focus on connection, not impressing her. People connect with others through shared experiences, vulnerability, and genuine conversation. It is not about being the most interesting guy in the room. It is about being interested in the person in front of you. I once met this girl at a small gathering with some mutual friends. At first, my mind was all over the place, trying to figure out what I could say to impress her. You know, crack a few witty jokes, maybe talk about something interesting I had done recently. But for some reason, instead of trying to show off, I decided to just focus on having a normal conversation. So, instead of launching into a story about myself, I asked her what she was into. We ended up chatting for the rest of the evening, not because I was trying to wow her with some epic tale, but because I was actually interested in what she had to say. By the end of the night, we were laughing and connecting on so many levels, talking about travel, new places to explore, and even swapping some stories about outdoor adventures. What really struck me was how easy the conversation flowed once I let go of the idea of impressing her and just focused on building a connection. I didn't try to be the most interesting guy in the room. I just showed some interest in the conversational. And honestly, that is when things really clicked. Getting girls isn't complicated. You gotta be authentic, confident, and not put unnecessary pressure on yourself. If you take these principles to heart, you will find that attracting women becomes a lot easier and way more natural. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like. If you're interested in more videos like this one, hit the subscribe and notification bell to always be the first to know when a new video is up. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.